What up, nerds? And welcome to another knockoff episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 346, recorded on Monday, November 15th, 2021. Tonight, we're going to be talking about another Patreon pick. This one was chosen by Catalin. The movie is Ghosthouse from 1988. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy Randu. How do?
Are you up? Are you there? 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 Ah!
Yeah, I'm here, and I'm very excited about it. Are you here, Randy? I was waiting for a mushy.
No, sometimes you got to give it a rest,
Appreciate it. Switching it up. Last but not least, calling in from my immediate left, we got our boy, Soju.
What up, it's your boy, Hammy Stains, over.
Wow.
Hammy Stains.
Yep. I was looking up, I was like, is there a slang term for people who operate ham radios? They're just called hams. I like that little bit of trivia about life, about ham radios.
I'm
just a ham,
I'm just a hamster,
Yeah.
big time hamster over here.
Hamster. I like hammy. It's pretty good.
It's all good.
Do you have a slang for yourself? Do you operate a ham radio? Let us know. Call in now.
They call me Canadian bacon.
Who has a ham radio? Like, nobody's doing. You got the internet in your pocket at all times. Nobody's doing
There's an audience for
There
that.
is, Bob. Someone's doing it.
They're doing it, and God bless them. No hobby shaming around here.
They're trying to find someone to talk to out there.
Here we are doing internet radio, and I'm like, no, it's impossible. Nobody could ever be talking on a ham radio. Hello, internets. Let us discuss. Before we get into the main event, let's tackle some housekeeping real quick. Here's another reminder. We got our December poll pick currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this December. The theme for December's Covert Christmas. The movies to vote between are Body, P2, and Scent.
Hey, Bob.
Yo.
Let me ask you a different question real quick.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen any of these films?
I have seen all of them.
You've seen all? Okay, good. Because I'm completely unfamiliar with each one of these films. Randy, have you seen any of these films?
No, there's a few that have been on my list for some time, but I never have seen any of them.
Okay. I kind of looked them up a little bit just to kind of get an idea about. I was like,
They're
are
all
they really
pretty
Christmas?
deep cuts.
Yeah. So, okay, but Bob is familiar. Okay, that's good because you did pick all three of these. And we just were like, sure.
Yeah, we've covered...
I feel like a lot of these... Sorry, go ahead.
I was say we've covered most of the big names, so there's a few rattling around that I feel like most people haven't seen. These are some of the better ones, in my opinion.
All right, that's good to hear. I'm excited. Even last year we covered what was the one we cut? The Christmas one we covered with
Rare Exports.
Yeah, I'd never seen that one. I'm always happy to get a new Christmas horror in my life.
Yeah,
when we covered Christmas Evil, never even heard of that one. Love the shit out of that one.
Love the shit.
I love both of those actually.
Yeah. So
both are really good Christmas horrors. Yeah,
I don't think we've ever had just a bad Christmas horror episode, or where we all hated the movie.
Yeah.
Clearly, you don't remember Ricky,
dude. Whoa.
I mean, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
I guess so. Yeah, would be the worst quality.
If you're talking about episodes of the show, no, they've all been good. As far as
I just meant the movies, like Christmas movies. But yeah, I guess that one.
I enjoyed that movie though on some level. Though,
True.
so
Exactly. So
kind of tough to say no to.
Hopefully, we can keep the hot streak going this Christmas. Yeah. How those numbers look?
Very much a crapshoot.
Yeah.
It could go anyway still.
Is there a lead? Is anybody in the lead?
Body is still winning by a single vote, but there's still not even half the people voted. So if you're listening, make sure you get all your votes in before the end of November, and we'll see what we're talking about this December.
Nice.
That's all we got for Patreon news. Do you guys have anything you want to mention?
My house is clean.
All right.
It's a clean house.
The only other thing I want to throw out there is this coming Wednesday, Our good buddy Warren over at Simpsons is Greater Than is going to be dropping a Thanksgiving episode. Justin and I were honored by being featured on that. With Warren, we're talking about a very special Thanksgiving episode of The Simpsons. Make sure that you check that out. Show Warren some love. Again, the show is Simpsons is Greater Than. You can get that anywhere you get your podcasts. And we had a lot of fun. It was a good time.
And if you didn't remember, Warren has been on 2 of our episodes where we talked about the Treehouse of Horror just a couple weeks ago on this one, then last year too. So this one is keeping with the theme, but it's on his show this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Check it out. Show him some love. That is all. I believe our houses are clean.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking about Ghosthouse, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
It's always exciting when you have the physical box, except for maybe this time.
I have it.
Damn. It's a double feature.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it's not a quadruple.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised too.
I got the Scream Factory double feature here. It's got Ghosthouse and Witchery. Witchery. If you are interested in picking it up, it's really easy to come by, and I think you can get it, $10-15. Ghosthouse, released in 1988. This was directed by Umberto Lenzi. It was written by like a dozen people. It stars a bunch of people that I don't know. The runtime is an hour and 35 minutes, and the plot synopsis is as follows. Your tour of terror begins with Ghosthouse, in which a group of visitors to a seemingly deserted home find themselves tormented by demonic spirits, including one particularly freaky little girl and her creepy clown companion. Soon, our hapless heroes find themselves powerless to conquer the evil of the Ghosthouse, where death holds the mortgage, and if you move in, there'll be hell to pay.
Oh my God, that
beautiful.
Copywriter just needed some words in there.
That's
just
beautiful.
Put them in.
So this is an Italian film, and in classic Italian fashion, it was released in Italy as La Casa 3. Which is sort of an unofficial sequel to the Evil Dead series in Italy, because Evil Dead was called La Casa. Evil Dead 2 was La Casa 2. And then, of course, Ghosthouse was La Casa 3, and Witchery, which is Witchery, which is the second feature in this Scream Factory double feature, was released as La Casa 4 in Italy. And I believe there's a 5 and a 6. I don't remember what they are. It goes on and on. Anyways, Gentlemangs, had you seen La Casa 3 before, and would you recommend people check it out? Randy, kick us off.
I own it in triplicate. No, I've never seen this film. I only recognize it because I have seen your Blu-ray collection in my life, so I was aware of it through that. This is the first time, maybe ever, but certainly in a long while, that I'm going to give a firm not recommend. A very firm terra firma not recommend. I'm just going to say this for the record.
It's got a death curse.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, a stern no from Randy. Juice, what about you?
I had never seen this film before. It's funny that they advertise it as a sequel to Evil Dead, because honestly what I was kind of thinking is it felt like an Italian knockoff of Poltergeist, which came out 6 years before this. And so I thought if anything they would try to make it like a Poltergeist 2, but Evil Dead, sure, that works too. I'm going to break a little bit with Randy here, and also I'm going to go against Bob a little bit as well. Since Bob's got his agenda with, buy the blue for $10.15, I will say I watched this film for free on YouTube. So let's get digital media over here.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many GoDaddy ads did you have to sit through?
The reason I specifically mentioned that, other than getting in Rob's craw over here, is...
Get out of my craw.
I was looking at the comments, and almost everyone was saying, Oh my God, I remember renting this from Blockbuster. Oh, this is such a throwback to those movies you find on the bottom shelf in the horror section and the videotape store and blah, blah, blah. Like, all the things were about this scared the shit out of me as a kid. Like, this really, like, affected me when I was younger and stuff like that. And so I was like, I remember earlier this year we covered a movie that kind of reminded me of this, like, same era where the girl's in the orphanage or whatever. You all remember what movie I'm talking about?
I don't know what the fuck you're
No, it was like an
Orphan
older
Annie.
film like this. The thing is like I asked, it was a Patreon pick, and I was like, call in and tell us why you picked it. And he was like, I just like films like that. And so I was like, you know what?
I thought that was the baby that the guy from
not The Baby. It was the one where the girl, her mom dies when she's with a John and
Blood and Lace.
Was it Blood and Lace?
Yeah, chosen by Luke.
Blood and
Shout out.
Lace.
Yeah, and Luke
That's
was
right,
like,
Luke.
yeah, he was like, Soju's always talking about me. Like, who watches these movies? I do. So, like, this movie kind of falls in that realm for me. It didn't feel as like Italian knockoff is like the Terminator 2 or whatever, which one we also covered.
Shocking dark.
Yeah, it felt more like Blood and Lace to me, where it like was an 80s film that's like super low budget, but it's got some interesting like low budget horror stuff going on, specifically the kills. So in that vein, I would say for the people out there who like those kind of movies, it's not my flavor, but if you like those kind of bottom shelf videotape store horrors, then I think actually you could dig on this. Bob?
That's fair.
Yeah. Bob, had you ever seen this before? Would you recommend?
Yeah, I'd seen this once prior because I had the disc. Mikey and I actually did a double feature of both of these movies a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
I would recommend this with a caveat that it's like it's a decent party movie. It's one of those movies you kind of put on in the background and you can kind of easily joke about it and talk over it with your buddies as you're having a couple beers. It's not one that you just throw on and like hyper focus and expect to have this like amazing tale presented to you. It is not that at all.
Which is what we all three had to do. We
All
watched it alone.
Requirement of the job.
Alone and sober. Not the way to do it. So yeah, I would recommend it under those circumstances exclusively. Sounds like a pretty lukewarm recommendation from the Straight Chilling crew. Well,
The Lucas warm possible.
a hard no. It's a hard no from Randy. But let's go ahead and get into the rest of the movie. We are going to spoil the shit out of it, and here's your warning.
Spoiler warning.
I'm trying to figure out how you could even spoil this movie exactly.
I don't know. I don't really know.
Here's a spoiler. I'm still working on Rob's Halloween candy. I know you're curious.
Finish
All the
it.
listeners out there.
Finish it off.
We should have done, like, on the first night, we should have done a poll of, like, how long will Bob's Halloween candy last?
If only you are eating it.
Well,
You've been making some solid headway.
yeah,
honestly.
I'm trying over here.
Thanks, man.
You
Yeah.
got to pack on the pounds while you're in America.
Got to.
You got to. It's
That's the Lord's mandate.
time for hibernation. All right. I do have a plot synopsis typed up. Here's a list of things that occur in this movie. It starts off in 1967. We got a man who finds his daughter Henrietta in the basement after murdering a cat with some scissors. He locks her in the basement for punishment. While she's locked down there, her parents are murdered by an unknown assailant. Henrietta then finds comfort in holding a strange clown doll. Jump forward 20 years later, we find our ham radio operator Paul, who picks up a signal of a man screaming for help. Paul uses some sort of bullshit science to track down where the signal came from. While on the way, he and his girlfriend pick up a ghost and Mr. Goodbar enthusiast by the name of Pepe. They soon drop him off and arrive at the creepy abandoned house the signal came from, which is the same house Henrietta's parents were murdered at. They find a ham radio set up in the attic. Turns out the radio belongs to Jim, who's on a camping trip with his siblings Tina and Mark and his girlfriend Susan. Jim's voice sounds exactly like the voice Paul heard on the ham radio, but Jim swears it was not him. Jim later finds Henrietta's ghost in the basement, and he pleads for help, just like Paul heard on his ham radio the night before. Paul must have received some sort of transmission from the future. A rusty fan blade then launches off, cutting Jim's throat and killing him. Valkos, the old crusty caretaker, then attacks Tina, Susan, and Mark, but they escape. When the police arrive, they assume Valkos killed Jim. Paul and Martha then leave the house and investigate the previous owners of the house. They discover Henrietta's father worked at a funeral home, and he would often steal items from deceased people. The creepy clown doll Henrietta was holding in the basement belonged to a dead child, and Henrietta's father took it. Paul and Martha return to the house to warn the others to leave. The whole gang then experience a bunch of supernatural things in the house. Tina gets cut in half. Mark falls through the floor into some milky acid substance. Megan is chased through the cemetery by Valkos.
The stuff.
Yeah. She finds Henrietta's crypt, and her corpse rises out of it. Valkos is mysteriously hung from a tree. A cloaked skeleton then shows up, and right before it kills Megan, Paul burns Henrietta's corpse, causing it to vanish. The cops pin all the murders on Valkos. Megan then sees the creepy doll in a department store window, and Paul crosses the road to join her, and he gets hit by a bus. Roll them credits.
Don't you forget about the Salem witch trials. This is good old Massachusetts, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you for including
That was a special request bump. Don't complain to me.
Randy takes this bump business serious, and he doesn't want to taint it by Bob's wild bumps.
Look, we have a certain standard here, Bob, okay?
Wow. Wow.
All right.
Yeah, so this movie, it takes place in Boston, Massachusetts, and this is one of those rare instances where it's like an Italian production that actually was shot in America, in Boston. It wasn't like Italy,
true.
and they're desperately trying to make it look like Boston.
Oh.
That's
Okay.
the only reason it took me like as long as it did to figure out for sure that this was like an Italian movie. Like,
Yeah.
It very much reeks of it like Italian horror writing of the time. And like just all the hallmarks of that stuff. But yeah, it's definitely got Massachusetts in there.
Yeah. Did you guys notice? So the character of Pepe, I'm just jumping into him. He's my favorite character in this fucking movie. The dude rules. He's hitchhiking down a long and lonesome road, and he's picked up, and
His brother Kyle.
It's him and his brother Kyle. He's got this little skeleton hand, and he scares Martha with it, and he like starts the conversation off with like, "Hey, y'all believe in ghosts?" This dude's like off the fucking reservation, and I love it. And then he finally, like, he disappears for the vast majority of the movie, and he comes back towards the very end, and he scares Tina with the skeleton hand as well, and he's slamming a giant Mr. Goodbar, and it's like half eaten as he pulls it out of his pocket and tries to like force feed it to Tina, and he's like, "What? It's good for you. You gotta have
It's
some."
It's
for
good
you.
for you.
Quite literally,
Mr. Good for you bar.
it is. It could not possibly be good for you
No.
in any conceivable way. Not
No.
for the soul, not for the body.
No.
It's not. It's dog shit.
Pepe is living his best fucking life, and I'm
Dude.
loving the character.
Well, not anymore.
Well, he's dead. Yeah.
No, he's not. He was, I guess, which his best life is using a fucking fake corpse hand to pickpocket $5 from people at a time.
It's
I guess that's a life. Whatever.
it's death by good chocolate, is what it was.
We had a good bar
Adequate
conversation just a couple episodes
we
ago.
did.
What a
It's a thing.
coincidence.
Pepe wasn't here to defend himself.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I don't know, man. Pepe was asking to be punched in the face. Like he was like, I don't know. He like stood out in front of their fucking car to get them to screech to a halt so that he could ask to hitch a ride. Can you imagine a scenario where
And then
somebody did
robbed
that
them.
and you're like, oh yeah, go ahead and hop in?
Yeah. No.
Like, no.
This
Not unless you're fucking Ted goddamn Bundy.
Umberto Lenzi, the director of this movie, would often make these sort of knockoff sequels to popular American films.
Yeah.
And when he did so, he would often use pseudonyms. So, like, if you were watching the credit scroll at the beginning of the movie, it said this was directed by Humphrey Humbert.
I saw that actually.
Yeah. What a name to choose, right?
Well, that's like who's the guy who wrote Lolita?
Is it because he was so ashamed of his work?
Probably. I mean, I
He
guess.
didn't want to
That's
taint his real name.
Humphrey.
He didn't want to get sued, maybe?
I guess so. I feel like the production company would get sued ultimately, but
Hubert Humphrey was a former vice president of the United States. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it was inspired by that. I don't know.
You know what I loved about this movie?
No, I don't.
That baller song that plays.
Oh,
constant.
yeah.
How did that
Are you
go?
good? Are you up? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you up? Are you there?
Oh my God. That song played many times.
Yes.
It kind of reminded me of like the Halloween 3 Jangle Scotch, but much worse and played like so many times.
You know, that song was like, it at least was doing the one thing. You know what I mean? This song was kind of like trying to like, I don't know what they even included lyrics for with that. Why not just have it be like a haunting little piano ditty? That's the obvious thing to do. Instead, they have these like pointless, like I cannot fathom what the phrase "Are you there?" is supposed to mean in the context of this song.
Oof. And that's not even like the only like audio problem. All the music in this is pretty bad.
I like the synth score.
Really?
I thought it was
Really?
Yeah.
It sounds like fucking Goosebumps. Like,
Well,
it sounds
that's
awfully
tight.
a lot like Goose. Yeah, well, it's tight for a children's show in the 90s.
I
It's
thought
not
it was
tight for a
rough.
fucking horror film. Yeah, I did too.
I
don't
did
know,
not
man.
think it was rough. But not to be a complete ass, one thing I did think was pretty cool in
Too
this.
late.
Well, yeah, is the kills.
Yeah.
Like from a horror standpoint, from a low budget horror standpoint. That's why I was kind of like teetering on the recommendation there, because it brings quite a bit of like cool special effects in this one.
Well, it tries, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't settle for like the most obvious way of killing people.
yeah.
Like, it goes for things. It's not very capable of them.
Yeah.
But like, the
yeah.
first like kill is the father of Henrietta, right? The little girl who gets an axe in the head, which is a very kind of a standard kill. And I was like, oh God, okay. But then he kills the mom, and it does it in this really weird way that's kind of hard to parse, where she gets like some glass blown into her face, so she's got a fucked up eye, and then she gets a knife sliced through her neck and then into the wall, I guess, or into the door, so she's kind of hanging there. But it didn't really read that way until like they did the wide shot and showed you what was going on. But after that, I would say it ramped up significantly, and I was particularly fond of the stuff kill, or like semi kill, I guess, where like Tom Petty or whatever fell down through the hole, was free falling all the way down to a big vat of stuff and started melting.
Yeah, that was pretty tight. Going back to the mom for just a second, like when that mirror exploded, I thought that was really cool. The way it was like pulsating and like warping all over the place before it exploded. I thought that was kind of a cool effect. I'm not sure how they accomplished that. And yeah, the big vat of like milky, like fucking clam chowder with skulls floating in it or whatever it is. That's
It's
Oh,
pretty.
just some sawmill gravy.
That shit will eat your flesh off.
Sawmill gravy. I like, you know what I liked? I liked that kill a lot too, where it opened up and he fell into it. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? But then I liked how he kind of crawled out of it. It looked like hot wax. It like stuck to his body. And then the kill where the girl kills him, and instead with those. It's pretty brutal in the back, and then it's like sticking out of him. He's still covered in it. I thought it looked like kind of hot wax once he got out. And I was like, in that imagination, I was like, that's fucking brutal. And then the stab in the back and like the pink fleshy look like of the of the wound. I like that.
I like that too, and I was like, that was actually like an emotionally impactful kill, like as far as this movie can get to the best of its ability. Like, I thought that was pretty good to have like this girl. I thought that girl was going to go like full on mad and maybe become like the next torchbearer for the doll or something like that. But they didn't go that route because that would be too sensical for an Italian movie of the time. But yeah, I wanted, Rob, you said that like that mirror effect. I wanted to call that out too, because they do a few of those. There's quite a bit of like fucking around, not just with like kills and making fun kills, but like fucking around with the house. You know what I mean? Which I do appreciate, like having like arms come out of the walls suddenly, or having like just the ground crumble away like styrofoam beneath you, or like, and then having like a jar of like disgusting shit pulsate into a bubble and then pop into glass again.
Hell yeah.
Like all that shit, like that's pretty good. I'm okay with that stuff. I like that they like extended their special effects beyond the gore category. You know, not even good movies often do that necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the mirrors one as well, because I too was like, what are they doing there? Like, how are they doing that?
I don't know.
I think it's like a Mylar sheet or something, and people are just pressing their fingers behind it.
I see.
To get it to warp and
okay. But there was another one where the jars like blow up. They like get bigger, like they're balloons, and then explode. I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah. They do the same thing with a couple light bulbs.
Yeah.
Glass and mirrors. Like just
they got
going
some
buck
glass
wild
effects in this one. They
this
got a
clown
glass
has some
specialist.
weird specials. Yeah, it's special is glass and fucking ham radios.
Dude, another thing that actually it like entertained me, it's really bad, and this is kind of where it falls into like is it so bad it's entertaining? And where I kind of agree with Bob, I was like, as I was watching this, I was like, yeah, it would be pretty fun to have some beers with this one. Is the fucking doll's face getting like pissed the fuck off?
Yeah.
His brow just and the teeth.
Can we
That
talk
shit was
about
pretty
the doll?
funny. That was pretty good.
The doll in general is like super like there. It's a 1-to-1 almost with the fucking poltergeist clown, like the famous poltergeist clown.
Yeah.
To the point where if I were to see a picture of this doll out in the wild, I'd be like, oh, poltergeist clown. Like, there's no question. I would not assume anything else about it.
And
It
the
looks
little
exactly like
girl attached with it. I mean,
Yeah,
that
she's
whole
the little-
idea.
Yeah. Even though the girl like is obviously fit, like you can tell the difference between her and
Sure, yeah.
Carrie Ann or
But
whatever her
still
name
similar
was.
kind of look.
So yeah, similar. Like it's the same. Like I don't know, silhouette of a character, so to speak. You know.
Yeah,
So-
and they had that scene that really reminded me of Poltergeist in the bedroom, which those special effects looked really rough, where shit's flying around
Yeah.
in the room.
tornado.
Yeah,
thing.
where she's getting attacked by inflatable Mickey Mouses and
Yeah.
feathers.
Yeah, and there's like
Like, wow,
confetti
high
and shit
stakes.
or whatever flying around.
It's like a party to me.
But she does die there, doesn't she?
No, I don't think
gets
she
killed.
does.
No,
I think
Okay.
she
No,
gets away.
she gets saved by Paul, who's just like Paul's just running his ass around. Every few minutes, somebody's just like and it's like calling people out and running somewhere else. It's just people running from A to B to C to D to A again, and then over and over and over again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that shit happening here, and people just keep splitting the fuck up. People are told explicitly, "Oh, just don't go in the house." And every time they just fucking gotta go in the house. Like they always like, and there's no good excuse for it. It's like, "Oh, I need a shower." It's like, this is not your house. Everybody's very comfortable just breaking and entering in this fucking movie.
Gotta set up their hammy, you know?
Yeah. Why
Yeah,
couldn't
what
they?
the fuck is that?
Why couldn't they set the ham radio up in the back of their camper? Like, why?
I
would
know.
you-
Driving around in.
Yeah, and like,
yeah, but they
why-
did that with fucking Paul's camper.
Yeah, Paul's truck is like 18 different colors, by the way. Like, I don't know what the fuck. And like, why does he have a portable ham radio set up? Like, is this just a thing that people did? Like, they just
Yes,
wanted to
man,
talk
this
to
is-
strangers?
I was thinking about this movie. I think it's kind of like, at least with the ham thing, I think it might have some like correlation anyway to like something like Unfriended or like I don't know, like a technology based
Yeah.
or like Cell or something like that, where it's like, okay, this is the technology of the day. How can we make it spooky?
Mm.
Why would a cellular phone hurt anyone? That sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like haunted VHS tape, etc.
Yeah.
Haunted iPod.
It's,
etc.
you know, it
Yeah,
can be
kids
done.
these days can't even
but-
watch The Ring.
Can't do it.
They can't. No,
You'd have
It's
to
not-
watch it on YouTube or
They
some
wouldn't
shit.
get it.
there's no
They
MP4 for
wouldn't
it.
get
so.
it. What is this piece of black plastic? What is
Where
that?
do I stream the haunted tape?
There is
What site is it on?
that movie Pulse. It's a Japanese horror movie from the early 2000s. It's about a haunted website. That movie's fucking good.
Really?
Yeah, I
I think I
recommend
might
it.
have seen that. Is that the one with the like boyfriend who has a camera? Or is that something else?
No, I don't
they
think
made an American remake of one. Maybe that's like Click. Not Click. No, that's
I
the
don't
Adam
know.
Sandler movie.
I think they did do an American remake of Pulse, but I haven't seen it. I don't
I'll have to
know
look this up.
what that's like exactly. But yeah, it's like a haunted website, and you go onto it, and it like shows you ghosties or whatever. But it sounds really lame, and like some of the old school technology, you're like, oh, that's quaint, but like they nail the spooky vibes. It is like unnerving. It's fucking good.
Well, I think that's a problem. I've spoke on this a couple times too. I have this
Kristen
specifically in books, but in some movies like this where I'm already having a hard time getting along with it, it can kind of ruin a movie a little bit for me too, is when the technology is so outdated, but also what they're saying is complete bullshit because of course we know now. So, like, what the first the example that always sticks out in my mind for some reason is the book. I tried to read Congo, and the way they were talking about like picture and video enhancement and the computers they use to like attract these girls. It was really fucking dumb, and it comes across as like bad writing then because I'm like, man, you didn't even research the technology that you're basing a lot of your story on, and so that kind of like rings true in this one too, where I can trace this ham radio.
Nobody researched.
I don't know, though.
Yeah.
I don't know though, like, because there's also like, I mean, you could chalk that up to sci-fi. I mean, that's what sci-fi speculation about what could be. But like, I don't. That's meeting it more than halfway. I understand that, but I just don't want to make a blanket statement about that sort of approach because it can work. I mean, fucking in the entirety of Jurassic Park is based on that. Like, based on some dubious bullshit.
I agree with the point you're making, but in regards to this movie, it's very obvious nobody fucking cared about any of the science.
Totally agree.
Nobody
no
cared.
qualms.
Yeah,
with
at
that
least
statement.
Jurassic Park is thought out and the logic holds true within its own state.
Yeah, the internal logic.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It makes a logical sense within the story being told, if nothing else. And this movie, it's just very much a means to an end.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because whoever was writing is like, I got a CB radio. I love that thing. There's a big community. We can get this guy going. We can start this whole movie with CB radio.
Yeah.
Like,
My boy Paul, all he knows are computers, apparently.
all I know is computers.
I love how everyone's just fucking 1988. It's like data. What is it? Data entry or
Data
data
processing.
analysis? What was it?
Processing.
Processing. Yeah, that's right.
And the guy's like,
What's that?
computers.
Dadder. I don't know no
That is
dadder.
exactly a joke from Parks and Rec where somebody photoshopped Leslie Knope doing something and they're like, she's like, oh my God, how did you do this? And they're like, Photoshop. She's like, what? And they go, computers. Oh. Just computers as a blanket statement.
To be fair, though, I don't know because I don't know anything about ham radios, but just I don't
think it's
know.
necessarily impossible. I don't know that.
And season 3 though, just about the relevancy of ham radios and stuff like that. Season 3 of Stranger Things, Bob's favorite over there. You know, the big plot point is old Dustin. He's got his ham radio. He's taking it out for a spin. So I don't know.
That's the
It
thing.
could have been a thing.
That's kind of the thing, though, is that like in that that show, and in every like piece of media that concerns ham radio, CB radio, that sort of thing, CB, I guess it's more truckers. In the 70s, it was kind of a fad, but like with ham radio specifically, it's always in the realm of hyper nerds. And in this movie, they try and make it like the cool guy thing that the cool guy does. Cool Paul likes to work on cool computers with his cool ham radio.
I took it as
And it's
more
very
kind of like
funny.
a yuppie type of thing. Not cool, but
Oh,
like,
really? No, I thought they were trying to make Paul cool as fuck in this movie.
Nobody's cool in this movie except for Pepe.
No, I agree, but I think they really tried.
yeah.
Pepe's not on. No.
Did you guys have any theory as to why there's a fucking ghost dog in this movie?
Because the ghost does whatever it wants. There's a fucking Grim Reaper with maggot face. Why not?
dude, when that dude came out, it's so clear that it's just like a dude
yeah.
in the
I know.
cheapest Halloween costume.
It looked like the wrestler La Parka. It did not look like a real
and then when like
Party
he,
City bullshit.
he burns the coffin or whatever. And then I love how it's just like the disappear.
It's just gone. Yeah.
It's gone.
It's like, oh shit, the light turned off real quick.
And fade.
I
There's
love that.
there's
No fade. It was
Yeah,
just-
there's absolutely no Marty McFly looking at his hand moment for this little girl. She's
it's just fucking gone.
The dog faded. The guy, I forget, it might have been
Yeah,
Paul.
I think
He like
Mark-
throws a candlestick at it, or a candlestick holder, and the dog just like fades into nothing. Like what?
Yeah.
The dog does nothing. Like what? I don't.
It's
I'm
just there to
fascinated.
intimidate people.
I guess.
Like in a reverse shot situation, so there's no actual dog nearby.
I guess I need a ghost dog. That'd be tight.
Ghost dog. Yeah, man, this is a crazy fucking movie, and like, if you're watching this alone, I want to say this: like, you might have a point that you could throw this on and bullshit over it. You could do that with just about anything. In fairness, like it's kind of lowest hanging fruit possible.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's
This
some
is not
movies
even
you
one
want
that I would
to pay
necessarily bust
attention
a
to.
gut at, unless
Yeah.
the people watching it are funny enough.
I'll disagree with you there. What I think
Okay.
this movie that makes it decent enough to throw, you can't throw on just any old movie and bullshit over it in the same way, because at least this has like the visual gags going on. There's things for you to slightly pay attention to and pick up on, like the doll's crazy face, or it has teeth, or these falling into a giant thing of milk, or like there's visual things that you can like just quickly pick up on and make fun of and like go back to your kind of conversation or your jokes. Like you couldn't just bullshit over like The Beach or something that's like very dialogue heavy or very like dramatic,
but
where
like,
there's no like visual gags going on.
In the realm of movies that are like, I mean, you could, and that, but like that, like that's the thing is like Riff Tracks and Mystery Science Theater make a whole fucking cottage industry of this. You can throw on like fucking old industrial, like wash your eyes after, ingesting, or, like safety videos and shit from the 50s and make it hilarious. Like it really kind of like you can kind of do it with anything. In this movie, I would agree that there might be enough visual to get you through, and it's definitely not like conversation heavy in a way that matters. So I guess that's fine. But to me, it's like, I don't know. I don't know that this has any particular edge, because like I feel like I could watch like Killer Clowns from Outer Space and be totally enthralled and like have a great fucking like conversation and bullshit over that really easily. Like that's got the visuals. This has a few attempts at visuals that are laughable, and enjoyable, but I don't know. I don't know if it's quite, I think it's like medium. You know what I mean? It's like, it's acceptable for that purpose.
Yeah, sure.
That's the only purpose for which I feel like it's acceptable.
I wouldn't like reach for this one and be like, this is the one we got to, but
Yeah, it's not like something so audacious that you're
Yeah.
like, you guys got to watch this with me so we can laugh. It's not Birdemic,
It's not The Suckling.
I don't know what that is.
Dude, I watched that
You're
with you.
about to.
It definitely has the visuals, but man, that was a tough one to get through. I think we
Yeah.
were too tired for it.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. There's a couple other random gags in here. There's like a severed head rolling around in the dryer for some unexplained reason. I guess like the ghosties are super strong and somehow are able to like rock the shit out of the camper when Tina's in there.
That thing is fucking rocking.
So hard. Like, don't
They
come
got
a knocking.
two big burly motherfuckers on the other side of that thing just going to town.
Just
I was thinking about that. I was like, man, like they're just tearing
cheap
the shit
effect.
out of
It's
this
a-
fucking.
it's a couple corn-fed Boston fellers just rocking the shit out of that camper.
Got paid $3.50.
Tree fit. We'll give you a couple shots of Jameson if you rock this.
Oh, this movie,
Damn.
this movie did get one accidental, like hilarious, like big guffaw from me because Becky and I were watching. Becky was watching with me for like a few minutes, and Paul and Martha, right? Is his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Martha calls him and says, "Oh, I'm coming home soon," or whatever. And he's like, "Okay, I made chili." And then they get home. She's like, "I'm gonna go get some chili."
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that's such a funny choice to me to have chili, but also he's then like, "Oh yeah, give me some chili, extra jalapenos, please." And she's like, Becky and I both heard jalapenos, and I think that's really, really great. Put some extra jalapenos on there.
Extra jalapenos.
I like a mouthful of jalapenos.
Ooh, that's a good little clip right there, Randy. Cut that
like-
one out.
Oh boy.
That's going to entertain us
it's good
for
stuff.
I
weeks
like-
to come.
I like how Martha Martha says she's gonna go slam some chili in response to Paul saying like, "Yeah, I was on my ham radio last night and everything went to shit and I heard this dude screaming for his life," and she's just like, "Huh, I'm gonna get some chili."
Yeah.
Okay.
Extra
I mean,
jalapenos,
he wants
please.
some too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Extra
I mean,
jalapenos.
who's gonna deny chili?
Yeah.
It's like you he's been working all day on that chili. You're not going to just not eat the chili just because somebody's dying on your CB radio.
I had chili for dinner tonight, actually.
Oh shit.
It's delicious.
Good for you.
Piled with
Thematically
jalapenos.
appropriate. So
Chili
this is a
Bob
quote
over
that I
here.
wrote down. This is a quote that I wrote down from that very scene, I believe, where he's explaining that or he recorded Mark, I believe, making a call on the CB that's like got the song playing, and he's like, "Help me, somebody help me!" And it's like the inciting incident, basically. And they're sitting there recording it, and they start talking about it afterwards. And Martha says, like, "How do you know this is somebody just playing a game on the CB radio?" And he's like, "Nobody would pull a stunt like that. It's unethical." I'm like, bitch, this is a prank call? You think that people are not going to make prank calls?
That got me good too. It's
That shit made me-
unethical.
So, nobody who has a ham radio could possibly like use it for funny little prank calls. The Jerky Boys just don't have any interest in this sort of technology.
The Jerky Boys.
Damn.
People were perfect in 1988.
It was an ethical time for ethical
Not
people.
like kids these days.
Especially in Boston.
Goddamn Zoomers. Wow.
Them Jerky Boy Zoomers.
Yeah, people just get doxxed these days. That's what people do instead.
Yeah,
Speaking
it's
from
like, especially
experience, Bob?
Yes.
Bob, this is Bob. Bob is not his first name. It was Pepe once.
Yes.
Pepe Goodbar.
They call me Pepe. Pick me up on the side of the road, please. I'll talk to you about ghosts and feed you chocolate.
Honestly, if you want to start an MC career under the headline of Pepe Goodbar, I will support you till the day I die.
MC Pepe Goodbar. There's a bit in here where like our characters explore a cemetery. They're like when they're researching the previous owners of the house, and they're talking to like this random like cemetery custodian guy. And he's like, yeah, that dude would steal all kinds of shit from corpses, and then they're asking him about like, people turning up dead, and he's like, oh yeah, motherfucker's been dying in that house for 20 years. Nobody knows what's going on. It's like so nonchalant. He's like, yeah, motherfucker's been dying all the time. Like, it's like it's a known thing apparently in the town that people just die. It's fine.
You don't know what death is.
Mic drop.
Yeah, that dude, he's just like slamming his Miller High Life and out there telling, yeah, people die every 5 years or so, or whatever he says.
Every
Miller
5
High Life.
years.
He had a stack of, I mean, at least they were the color of Miller High Life can. I didn't.
Yeah. Well, it is Boston, so.
Yeah. Well, okay. Is that a Boston lager?
I don't think so. I just assume people love it in Boston.
Can you guys tell that we're stretching?
No.
Not at all. What about this Valkos guy? We hadn't really talked about Valkos at all. He's looking after the property, and apparently he used to be in a state mental institution of some sort, and they let him out, and the state's like, you know what? We know you're fucking nuts or whatever, but I don't know, go over here and just take care of this property, and we'll pay you to do it for some undisclosed reason. And of course, he's a murderer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's like the worst case scenario of.
You're going to Camp Blood, ain't you?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
He's a murderer.
Why has he never experienced anything? He takes care of this house, and also it's still kind of shitty, so I guess he's not doing a good job.
His motivation is nothing. Like we know nothing about this man. He's just out there. Like he even kills himself, and I don't like. Why does he kill himself?
I don't think he does.
I
actually
assume
kill
the
himself.
house killed him,
Yeah.
but then it would make sense that
But
he's
I
been
would
taking
ask-
care of it for years.
I guess I would ask how, but like it also likes to rumble vans and shit. So
Yeah,
but it's also like across town. I don't know, man. How far does this fucking thing like reach?
I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, it's able to operate a ham radio. I know that.
Purely and simply evil.
Thanks, Don.
Fucking ham radio.
Donnie P.
Like, what would you do with a ham radio?
Nothing now. Like
All
No,
people
I mean
do,
back
like,
in
yeah,
the day. Like, why would you? Why
It's
other
a way
than
to communicate for like, well, not for free, but like it's like you don't need telephone lines to do it. I don't think.
Okay.
I think it's like, I don't know.
You don't need a
I would be talking-
landline.
You know what?
Well, definitely not because
Let's
Yeah.
fill some time by me reading the Wikipedia page for
Oh,
ham
okay. I
radio.
guess, yeah, okay. I
He's got it
guess
in
I
his
could
car.
see the motivation for it at the time. Like,
It-
hey, let's make this more popular so that you can communicate with it was like a
cell phone.
cell phone in your house, which is a phone
Well, or in
with
your
no
It's like
I mean,
a
think
long
about
distance cell phone that's not
yeah,
portable.
because you
Think
can't
about, like,
take it
The
in
Shining.
your car.
There's ham radio in The Shining, and that serves a
Yeah.
pretty-
Yeah,
That
for
makes
safety and
sense.
stuff. That was
Yeah.
the one that kind of came to mind. But yeah, that was for because they were isolated, and it made sense. Like, oh, you need to call the cops who are not close. Then
It's radio. It's two-way radio. It's radio waves. They're using radio technology to communicate back and forth, so it goes over the air, is what I understand.
yeah,
So, I mean, it's a like in safety situations or like wartime or whatever. I could definitely see some stuff, and there's just hobbyists about it.
okay.
Because
like-
it's a technical thing that somebody can do at home. Like,
It's like fucking. It's AIM. It's a chat room. It's
Yeah.
It's
it's like AIM.
before
It's like
that.
AIM being run on a self-built computer that somebody, a gaming computer that somebody
Yeah.
wants to put together.
You know what I
It's that
kind of
sort
see it as, because Randy mentioned it as like, oh, wartime, or obviously the military or something would want to use it or something like that, is like conspiracy theorists trying to pick up on that secret signal or something. Like,
Oh.
I know they're talking, I know they're out there, I'm gonna get the signal and catch them or whatever.
We're gonna triangulate the signal. From
Yeah, and then you
the book
put
depository.
you got to put it in the computer, and it'll tell you where they're at.
they're out there just repeating very lowly ASL. ASL.
Man,
Waiting for a response.
man, you just wrote the next Unfriended, I think.
Yeah, unfriended again. ASL.
Refriended, unfriended, unfollowed.
ASL.
No bell smash. no
American
subscribe.
Sign Language.
Yes. But yeah, this is like, I don't know, man. What do you say about this movie? That one guy looked like Tom Petty, and I kept making Tom Petty jokes to myself throughout the course of this movie.
Yeah,
Whenever
they themselves,
He won't back down.
the dialogue is very stiff, and the
He
story
doesn't have to live like a refugee.
the story means almost kind of nothing. These people have no kind of attachment to the house. They all kind of stumble upon it. There's no like, yeah, he stole this doll. So was the doll always evil and it killed the little girl before it, or is it got a curse because he stole it from a corpse?
I guessing it's the latter, but it's a pretty goddamn evil fucking doll.
Yeah, because it's still
like,
hanging around at the end.
It's just for fun, and the little girl's spirit or whatever are just thrilled to murder folk, thrilled to do it.
Well, maybe that girl was well, no, I guess the implication is the doll made her kill the cat at the beginning. But she
I
is
thought
always
that, like,
with the doll.
she had reason to kill the dad. I got the impression that there was like it was an abusive situation. And
No,
the
but I
doll,
mean, she
like-
killed the cat with scissors.
Yeah, with-
That's how he found
right.
her.
What?
The dad found the little girl in the basement with scissors, and she had killed a cat.
Right. Okay. Yes. So
yeah,
what do you,
so
I
I'm
don't know
saying that was she evil, or did the doll make her kill the cat?
Oh, you're asking that question.
Yeah.
I think that the doll corrupted because like at least according to fucking knower of all things Paul, she was just a regular little girl before that. So at least within the exposition heavy dialogue of this fucking movie, it seems to imply that she was corrupted by this doll that was just evil because her dad stole it from somebody who wanted to be buried with it. And then she was buried with it in an extremely nice sarcophagus situation. She was buried like a fucking Egyptian prince.
Her dad was in the industry, so they got the hookup.
Yeah.
Paid cost
Nepotism burial. Nice.
for it. Love to see it. This fucking Umberto Lenzi, he also wrote and directed this movie called Nightmare Beach, but he directed it under the name Harry Kirkpatrick. This is this is another like bonkers ass Italian production that takes place in it's either Tampa or Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I can't remember. And it's during spring break. and the beach is like overrun by like University of Florida fans. They're like Gator fans.
Yeah.
And they're fucking obnoxious and like kind of a fairly accurate representation of a Florida fan. Dude, it is fucking hilarious. No offense
Rob
to
does not
Florida
speak
fans.
for us.
Yeah, I do. I think I do. Anyway, recommend watching Nightmare Beach. That shit. I'm just like scrolling through his IMDb. Like he's got 60 movies that he's written and directed. It's a ton of shit, and he's got a series of like various names that he directed under. He's got a Bob Collins, Humphrey Humbert. I already mentioned Harry Kirkpatrick, Hank Milestone, Humphrey Longan. And then, of course, his actual name, Umberto Lenzi. So
Big, McLarge, huge.
Big, Mick, Large, Huge. He also directed Cannibal Ferox, but I've never seen that one, though.
I've seen the name. Do you guys think that guy, when he got stabbed with the hedge clippers, should have said, "Don't do me like that"? I think he should have.
Wow. We're really all about Gainesville, Florida tonight. That's where
We are. This is the
we're focusing.
Gainesville-centric Italian film.
Somehow or another, it is. I also think Umberto Lenzi was like one of the co-writers of Shocking Dark, which we talked about earlier this year, Terminator 2. So, exactly.
These damn Italian movies, they're suspect.
They got a flavor. They got a vibe. They got a certain vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was saying though, I was watching on YouTube and I was curious in between the dialogue heavy scenes. So I was scrolling down and like there was a ton of comments and people were saying like, I saw this as a kid. This kept me up at night, gave me nightmares. And I could see that, you know, watching this as a kid in the 80s, 90s, you know, getting it from the video store or something like that. The song would creep you out. The visuals, like, I mean, there are some fucked up visuals. Like, there's one point where there's blood coming out of the little girl's eyes. Like we said before, the kills are, I mean, the fan cutting your neck. There's a lot of fucking neck wounds. You know, the glass in your eye and shit like that. So, I mean, I could see where it would be effective in that kind of setting, like as a kid stumbling upon it, or like even like a young teen or something, maybe.
Absolutely. I mean, we watched the fucking peanut butter experiment solution. Thank you. I couldn't get it right. I'm like, we watched that, and that left a scar on some kids. I mean, there's some like, it doesn't take much darkness in a otherwise, you know, especially in an otherwise like sort of upbeat film, to make kids scared. I think I could definitely see that, and I could see people being really nostalgic for this movie. And I don't want to take anything away from those people. That's great, you know, all good. And like that's a compelling reason to like this movie. I don't have a lot of compelling reasons to like this movie as somebody who did not experience it this way. And the way I experienced it was perhaps the worst way to experience it, in a situation where I was watching it with a critical eye. It's not the critical eye is not a fucking benefit to this movie. I can promise you that.
Yeah, not exactly. Now, is there anything else you guys want to mention before we rate this thing? Sounds like,
let's see,
we're landing the plane.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, nothing important to say.
That's fine.
We're doing it. Out of 5, Juice, kick us off. How do you feel about Ghosthouse?
Ghost.
Not great, Bob.
Okay.
My experience with this movie is it was really hard to pay attention to because the dialogue and acting and plot is very stiff and bad. There's like no real motivation for anyone, and they don't even try to pretend like there is. There's no reason for them to be at this house. They don't have any kind of connection with each other, like the kind of different parties going on. And the acting is just, of course, terrible. And so that's rough. The music is bad as well. I did not like the music, like Bob was saying. That song, also, too, that kid song that they play that's attached to the doll or whatever, annoying as shit. Damn, that was like bugging the fuck out of me. So that's a lot of negatives going for this movie. This movie that's only an hour and a half long felt like it took a long fucking time for me to get through. Positives. the visual effects were fun. They weren't always like the most amazing thing, but like knowing it's a low budget Italian film, I thought they were fun. And kind of the best part. I think my favorite was that like milk scene or whatever, the dude falling into the boiling milk. And then because like it was just cool effect, and then it was like an effective kill where that girl like had some emotional resonance, just looked good visually and like was effective. So that was my favorite. But the mirror warping, the bottles like inflating and exploding, the fucking doll's face changing like cracked me up every time. Even at the end, we didn't really talk about it. Just changed the don't walk to walk, and that dumbass still got hit by a bus or whatever.
What an idiot!
And then the doll's like face in the fucking window, dude. Oh my god. It cracked me up because it was so dumb, but it looked funny. At least like this fucking evil doll's just got this like furrowing brow. So not great, but it's of the Italian films we've watched, I normally just hate them to no end. This is probably the one with the most positives, I guess, because also too it is like a pretty big ripoff of a Poltergeist, and I like Poltergeist. Like I like the kind of beats of Poltergeist. So if you're gonna rip something off, then okay, that's fine. Overall, I'll give it. I was gonna be generous and go with a 1.5, but I don't know if that's fair. I'll give it a 1 star. Solid 1 star.
1 star. And when you're talking about like these Italian movies that you don't really like, you're specifically referring to like the knockoff sequels, not like.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
No, not just Italian cinema.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, not just Italian cinema, but these like specifically 80s knockoffs where they are advertising it for some reason. I don't know if people were fooled back then as part of, an existing franchise, which it's absolutely not. Yeah, right. Not just Italian cinema in general. Yeah. Just these. We've like covered. This is at least the second or third one this year, because we covered that Terminator 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just the 2.
Just the 2. Mm-hmm. And then maybe one late last year or something. I feel like we did 2, so maybe. I don't know. But not a fan, generally, of the ones I've seen. Yeah. Bob,
let me slide in.
Get in there.
All right.
Bob, what is it? La Casa?
La Casa 3.
3?
Yeah.
What's 3 in Italian, though? Got to do it proper.
Dude, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
3. Why? I took French. La Casa Trois. Like I said, this is a pretty fun party movie, and it's something that, again, I would recommend in that kind of situation where you can throw on and like make jokes about, do your own MST3K kind of stuff. I think it would serve you pretty well in that specific scenario, but that's it. I enjoyed the music, actually. I thought it was pretty cool. All the gore gags are either like actually really effective or like effective enough to be entertaining. Like the ghost dog is not scary, but it's like hilarious to see. So it's still entertaining in some way. A lot of the dialogue is funny. There's like these very like stiff, like matter-of-fact deliveries of dialogue that's just like nonsense. It creates some like pretty comedic beats that are entertaining. Pepe is just he's not in the movie enough. I wish Pepe was like a main player in this movie.
Bob.
For some reason, he's my guy.
No.
Pepe's my guy. Unfortunately, most of the characters in this movie, they're like non-characters. There's like, I couldn't accurately describe to you anybody probably other than Pepe and like Paul, who is just like the ham radio computer guy. And everybody else is just like
computers.
Yeah.
Only computers.
Everybody else is just a person that I could barely keep their names straight barely.
You knew their names,
Dude.
Wow.
I had to try. It's really hard to keep these characters straight. They're just very forgettable. A lot of the plot is ultimately forgettable and just muddled. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, which is obviously not why you watch this movie. You're not putting this on for an Oscar-worthy performance with a rock solid script, but I don't know. Overall, I think the best I could probably do is a 2 out of 5 on this one. It's solid, dumb fun, and if you're looking for something to fit that bill, I think you could throw on Ghosthouse and have a decent little ride. Randy, how do you feel out of 5?
Well,
A delight to the senses, isn't it, my friend?
I feel like this. You guys kind of covered it. This is not a movie that's a rewatcher for me at any point in my life. Will it be a rewatcher if I can have any say in it? I can understand people being nostalgic for this, having seen it as a kid. You can be nostalgic for any sort of crazy thing, honestly. I see that there's enough stimulus, enough visual stimulus, and enough interesting attempts at practical effects in this movie to keep somebody engaged if they're that age, or if they've got a bunch of beers in hand and not a lot of attention need be paid. I can see those situations panning out okay. I would not reach for this movie in either case. I wouldn't reach out for it as a kid. It doesn't look that scary to me from even as a kid's perspective. I wouldn't say. And then in addition to that, I wouldn't also pick it for my, hate watch or whatever you want to call it, my riff tracks night. It's not my first choice for either of those things. So it kind of barely registers on those scales for me. I will say again about the special effects, these are, I want to put this in perspective in terms that I understand my feelings towards the effects in this movie are that if I had made this movie, I would be very proud of the effects. That's where I'm at with it. I know nothing about making special effects outside of trivia factoids.
You're fired.
So that's not a high bar, but the scrappiness of it, I appreciate that. I don't appreciate the writing in this movie. It's fucking horrible. The music is very, very grating, top to bottom for me. Not just the clown music, but also the Goosebumps soundtrack. That's an inferior Goosebumps soundtrack on more grating synth. I did not enjoy it. The acting is maybe it ranks pretty high among the worst acting of any movie that we've reviewed. I was just reviewing the spreadsheet of our previous reviews. And man, the only ones that I can think of that would top it are Attack of the Cannibal Confederates and what was that other one?
Birdemic.
I forgot about Birdemic.
Yeah.
But also I was going to say Incredibly Strange Creatures who blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that low, huh?
That's bad.
Yeah, that's the lowest, I think. And out of those, this is not quite that bad, but I would say that this is a movie that is, to me, better than Shocking Dark and worse than Blood and Lace, which, as so happens, based on my scores, would put it at a 1.5. So that's where I'm putting it.
All right, with Randy's 1.5, that's going to make our aggregate a 1.5. Let's go ahead and jump to the Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users think about Ghosthouse.
Certified.
Hey, Bob.
All right, ladies.
Yo,
You rated this higher than The Lodge.
I'd rather watch this than The Lodge.
Good Lord.
I would.
Jesus Christ.
Ross Lodge hatred.
Your commitment to the bit is
I'm
impressive.
being honest, though. I really think that movie sucks.
Dude, what about Creep?
Save it for court,
What about
Silver
what?
Tongue.
What about what?
Creep.
Creep? Ooh, man. I'd have to think
We
about
haven't
it.
covered Creep, have we?
No.
I don't think so. Only in private.
Oh
No.
my God.
We've
Dude,
only covered
I might
Creep in
rather watch
private.
this than Creep.
Dude, Creep has to go on our classics list.
That's fine. I'd rather watch Creep 2 than this, but I think I'd rather watch Ghosthouse than Creep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
Married to the beast.
So this is the
Randu.
Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah.
segment. The Rotten Tomatoes segment operates as follows. For those who are new, I'm going to give these two gentlemen the chance to guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate scores are for both the users and critics. on RottenTomatoes.com. So it's out of 0 to 100% in terms of positivity towards the film. Let's start with the critics. Soju, what do you think that the critics had to say about this?
How many were there?
I'll save that for a minute.
Oh,
You tell me
okay.
what you think it is.
Like 7.
That's why I was like, what? There's an actual score? I'll save that for... then let's just go 0. No. Because I'm thinking if it's like 2. All right, I'll give it 10.
10 percentile. All right, Bob, what about you?
Man, this is hard. I'll give me a 5.
5. Oh, I thought you were going to keep going. Okay. So 5 for Bob, 10 for Juice. Bob's going to take it, and I aggregated this myself because there is one review.
I should have stuck with it. Damn it.
You could have got that ringy-dingy.
Damn
but you
it.
bold. All right. I'll give you another bite at the apple there, Juice. What do you think that the users, there are over 250 users scores, so there is a sampling here.
Okay.
What do you think that the users think of this?
Oh, me?
Juice.
No, Bob goes
Yeah.
first.
I was going to let you go again since you just whiffed that.
Oh,
So
okay.
bad.
I know. Never tinker with your
He
score.
feels sorry for you.
Oh, I see.
This is
Okay.
it's a
Dude,
pity
also,
choice.
Bob got a Hell Yeet sweep, and I can't allow that to happen like 2 weeks in a row. Hell Skeet sweep, sorry. I'll give it I'll stick with my old 10.
The old 10. All right. Bob, how about you?
Man, it's like I feel like it's right there. I don't know which side to go to. I feel like that's a really solid guess.
Skip to the end.
Just give me a 15.
15. Hey, Juice. It's going to stand. It's 24% positive.
Oh, another Hell Skeet sweep.
Sweep them skeets, boy.
Alice, get the broom.
No, you're getting the broom. Clean up all them skeets.
Oh, God.
So,
That's
yeah,
terrible.
24
Yeah, sorry.
24%. I want to, as we usually do, there is no critics consensus. And going down to the one negative review, the only negative review that I can read in case it's funny, as I usually do, is this one. And it reads, nothing. There's fucking nothing. They don't even include it. They just have a picture of this dude with a crazy looking mustache, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. There's not much to this Rotten Tomatoes segment. I'm sorry. I think I might see if there's any ratings that are worth reading. And the users, we barely ever do this because God knows what you're going to find. All right.
God knows.
All right. At random. I'm going to go with a medium review. I was able to give this one a spin on DVD with the Riff Tracks commentary. And I would say that while the movie may sort of stand on its own, the jokes obviously help it out a good bit. Rental. All right. Well, that person was surprisingly positive towards it. My God, this horror ripoff to 1982 Poltergeist is absolutely incredibly awful. The cast are really wooded and no motivation. And it felt like you're actually watching a comedy movie, and I only recommend watch with Riff Tracks audio commentary only. This person only just met a period at the end of the sentence.
Damn.
The first period in the whole goddamn thing. Mm-hmm. There you go. So, yeah, that's Ghost House, and the lack of reviews were swept by Bob.
Nailed it.
Damn it.
Sorry about your luck, dude.
I know.
So there's really no trivia to speak of regarding this movie. I mean, we already talked a little bit about some of it in the review, it being like Evil Dead 3 unofficially in Italy, and Umberto Lenzi.
Go to Joe Bob for that shit.
Yeah, and all of his various names that he directed under. It was actually filmed in Boston, even though it was an Italian production. But that's really kind of all we could come across regarding trivia. So we're going to jump right into our Cooter of the Week. Let's do it.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the Week.
Juice, what's a cooter and why do we hunt them?
You think that bumps from that new Limp Bizkit album?
Yeah, we got it in advance,
it, yeah.
like a solid year in advance, because my boy Freddie D.
What's that album called?
Still sucks.
That's what I thought.
Damn.
That's actually what it's called.
That's
by the way.
That's
actually what
called
it's
Truth
called.
and Advertising.
Yeah. Cooter is a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter. We want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points are manipulation, sexual deviance, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, I can't remember anybody's name. Who are we taking a Cooter core this week?
I don't know how we do this because none of these characters act like
Our
people.
Our characters, yeah.
They're barely archetypes, like barely. If just woman or man is an archetype, then yeah, there's a couple of those.
I think there's around like 3 white guys, right? And I honestly couldn't tell you the difference between any of them.
Well, there's Tom Petty, of course.
Okay.
You know.
Is that the dude who gets stabbed in the back with the scissors?
Oh yeah. That was his
Okay.
last chance with Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So
I don't know. Like, I remember their names, but I'm trying to like think of a Cooter to nominate, and I'm coming up empty here
I can't
because
even like think of them doing anything.
what do they do? What do they? What do they?
What
do?
about Mr. Data Processor?
I don't think so. I mean, he's
Nah,
He's a little
too
smug
milquetoast.
arrogance about that data processing, if you ask me.
I mean, you could stick him with that, but he doesn't manipulate anybody necessarily.
computers,
There's no
bitch.
sexual deviancy.
process the shit out of your data, motherfucker.
Yeah, drug-addled bum. Why don't you learn a thing or two about data processing? Look and attire. I mean, he's clearly set up with the MacGyver look, so for the time, appropriate. Patheticness, I don't know. Not really. He seems to be making a good living talking on a two-way radio all day.
He makes some mean chili, so he's got that going for him.
He's a chili boy.
I don't know. It's
see
not
it,
good
Brad.
enough if you need to add the extra jalapenos. I mean, you could what?
Jalapenos?
Jalapenos.
Yeah, jalapenos.
My boy
Add some
Paul's
jalapenos.
my
Add a
boy
little extra boiled penis to that.
ball penis.
Ball penis.
Do you prefer ball penis or jalapenos? I don't think there's a Cooter in this movie. Maybe Umberto Lenzi. Like he's manipulating his audience into believing this is a sequel to the fucking Evil Dead. And
Takes
it's
some
not.
arrogance.
It's pathetic that he changes his name and doesn't take ownership as director of this
That's
movie.
true. That's
yeah.
fair. What does he look like?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's googe Umberto, my boy Lenzi. Let's see what he looks like. What if he looks badass? Umberto.
Well, then you can't give him looking attire.
Lenzi.
It's the
He looks
rules.
like Dave Bautista.
He's gonna beat my fucking ass. He just looks kind of like
Yeah, it looks like a
the
guy.
Italian George Romero, kind
Just a
of.
guy.
I don't know. He's got a nice suit on. Actually, some shades. He's got the shades.
Yeah, he looks
Okay,
regular.
this is getting to be a little bit weird. Like, we're parsing this man's wardrobe now.
He's got
This is not a
shades.
character. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think that like the Italian movie industry of the time could be a Cooter, maybe
Yeah.
on manipulation alone. But I mean, what movie studio isn't manipulating you? You know?
You're right. I don't know. I think it's Cooter free. Maybe like Cooter and Umberto Lenzi, but I don't think we got enough.
I agree. What do you think, Juice? You agree?
Yeah, I have to agree because I can't remember anything.
By deep, this movie is like the least
I have to
remarkable movie
concur.
I've ever seen. It's hard to remark upon.
I don't know. It's got a ghost dog.
Is the ghost dog the Cooter? All right. That's it. No Cooters.
Sponsored by Mr. Goodbar. Since we literally
Mr.
recorded
Adequate Bar.
yesterday, we don't have much in the way of what we've been watching this 24 hours.
My hair's still mostly down.
Yeah, heard that. So let's go ahead and jump into our Hotline Screams.
Hotline Scream.
All Alrighty then. If you are listening and would like to call in and leave us a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, you can hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got a couple voicemails this week, both from our mystery caller. We covered Carrie not long ago, and we received a voicemail last week about a listener that had written this really baller paper, her thesis on women in horror, and we asked her specifically to call back and give us some more details on that, and she did oblige. So let's hear what she has to say.
Hey y'all, this is the girl who wrote the paper on female puberty. My favorite thing about the paper, writing it, was the title, which it was a toss-up between two lines. The first line was from Carrie, where I think Carrie says something like, "It's not the devil, mama, it's me." That was my first choice, but despite the movies that I picked having religious imagery, I didn't want to focus completely on religion. So I didn't go with that, but I ended up going with, which I thought was a better line, because I had to go through and read all the fucking scripts for the 3 movies. And I was like, shit, what's a good line? And I found The Exorcist. There's a line where she screams, "That thing upstairs is not my daughter." And so that's what I called it. I was like, "That thing upstairs is not my daughter." And I think it was an examination of female menstruation through horror movies. My original plan was to do the life cycle of women in horror movies as depicted in horror movies, starting from birth to puberty to high school-esque stuff, to college, because there's a ton of obviously college movies about women in college, and then post-pregnancy, and then post-pregnancy, so menopause. But there's, not to my knowledge, there's not a ton of movies about menopause. And also I had 70 movies on the list, and my partner at the time looked at me and was like, "Babe, this is not a doctoral thesis. You can shorten this list." So that was fun. My main source for it was Barbara Creed's The Monstrous Feminine, which is required reading, honestly, if you care about horror movies in analytical level. Also Men, Women, and Chainsaws, and I can't think of the author's name right now, and I don't feel like getting up out of bed to find out who. Yeah, I was gonna include Ginger Snaps, but it just didn't flow with the rest of the paper, which I know sounds crazy, but with the way I wrote the paper, it just didn't work with it. That, and I was trying to focus specifically on American horror, and Ginger Snaps is technically Canadian horror, and I was very pissed when I found out in the beginning. But my other favorite part of the paper was my professor came back to me and they're like, "Hey, you need to write a little bit more on The Exorcist. There's not a lot there." And I was like, "What? I've written 23 pages. What more do I need?" And so I sat down and I was thinking about it. And I don't know what happened, but it was like a Jimmy Neutron brain blast, where I suddenly realized, I'm like, holy shit, Reagan's body is decaying throughout the whole movie, much like a uterine lining decays when you're going through your period. And my professor came back to me, she's like, "Yo, where did you pull that out your ass from?" And I was like, "Girl, I have no idea." And I still don't. I was just sitting there and it just hit me and I was like, huh, imagery. Interesting. So, yeah. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, in the Carrie episode, you guys were talking about the
Cut off. Shall we continue with part 2 of this one?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Hi. Luckily my first voicemail broke off where I was about to start another little fun horror tangent. So in Carrie with the shower scene, De Palma said that he was actually paying homage or whatever the fuck that word is to Hitchcock's shower scene in Psycho, because he said that Hitchcock was a huge influence for him as a director. So yeah, he was trying to have a resemblance to the shower scene in Psycho, which I read and found that very interesting. Because yeah, I just thought it was cool. So I thought y'all should know. Thank y'all for what you do. Yes, I am sorry I could not cite circa 2021 straight chilling, whatever the hell else you started a podcast with. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Randu!
That's what it was. That was awesome. That's really interesting fucking topic for a paper.
Yeah, I love the title. That thing upstairs is not my
Me
daughter.
too.
Yeah, that's
perfect.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking name. I also like, the uterine lining thing. That's a pretty decent pull, I think.
Yeah.
I have bullshitted far worse than that. That makes a lot of sense to me, actually.
As long as you can back it up, it's not bullshit, you know?
Exactly. That's what academia is, as I understand it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Successfully backing up your bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting. And also, we've talked about De Palma and Hitchcock before with like Dress to Kill. I think we talked about Hitchcock a little bit in that review. So yeah, that makes sense that he was trying to pay homage. Although I will say it's like probably just because of the time, it's far more explicit and loving of a shower scene than even the one in Psycho. So I don't know, because I guess that was pressing up against the barriers of good taste at the time pretty hard. So they probably couldn't go further, but I think he extrapolated that it was quite as sexual as it was, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you actually read all of the scripts for the movies that you were discussing in your paper too. Like that's some like serious deep dive stuff. And I wonder if the scripts like were final drafts and like, or were they like original drafts? Like, do you see any like stark differences in the lines on the page and the ways the actors delivered them? I'm sure there were some interesting differences that you came across in your research in regards to that. Pretty badass though. Yeah, thanks for calling us back and giving us a little bit more information on your paper. And good book recommendations as well. So slam your eyeballs into some words, people, not just the screen.
Some words.
Yeah. Again, if you are listening and would like to call and leave a voicemail, you can do so at 904-638-3231. I feel like we should get into some like Thanksgiving prompts, maybe. You know, it's getting into the end of November here. I don't know.
Well, by the time this one comes out, and then people call in, and it'll be the week after Thanksgiving.
So, how was your Thanksgiving?
So, tell us about Thanksgiving.
Any
crazy family stories?
Or did you watch anything particularly spooky this Thanksgiving too? Tell us about that.
I'm gonna be spending this Thanksgiving with our boy Randu over here, and that's gonna be fun. I hope.
Randu!
Show me a good time, Randu.
It's going to be fun.
The best dinner since the scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Woo! Nice.
Give me your best side dishes, Randy.
Are you going to have a bowl labeled cranberry sauce and another one that says not cranberry sauce?
Sure.
I hope so.
Yes.
A little bit of both.
They're just both going to be blood.
Yeah. I hope I have some fun Randu stories for the prompt as well.
Yeah. Fondue Randu. That's what they call them on Thanksgiving. Melvin Do. Yeah. What'd you do for Thanksgiving? You got any traditions? You got any fucked up stories? Did your uncle get wasted and call you a dumb shit? Tell us about it.
Did you watch Blood Rage?
Did you make your family watch Blood Rage?
Do you still have a family afterwards?
Did your brother-in-law fry a turkey? Did he blow the house up?
Okay.
We want to know.
We want to know. Yeah. If that's the case, please don't call. Please take care of your business.
I hope
you can take 2 minutes out of your
you
schedule
got
call.
Time.
Well, they're like secretly Justin's like, Andy, come on. We got to exploit this. Come on.
We need the views, Randy.
All about the numbers. Hopefully you did have a lovely Thanksgiving. Call in, tell us about it, 904-638-3231. Again, Catalin, thanks so much for picking this flick for us to discuss. Hopefully we didn't shit on it too bad, and we'd love to hear from you. Feel free to call in and let us know exactly why you picked this movie, what it is you like about it. I'd be really intrigued to hear what you have to say. We will be back next week with a brand new show. As always, we're going to be talking about the winner of the November poll pick, which was Bride of Chucky from 1998.
Yippee!
We're doing it.
Simply evil.
Yeah.
This is what you asked for.
That's my boy Donnie P on the ones and twos. That's
on
right.
The ones and deuces.
Ones and deuces. Yeah. Bride of Chucky. Could have been Frankenstein. Not good enough. We went with Chucky. The people have spoken.
Sure.
I'm interested in
Who says
rewatching this.
democracy doesn't work?
I haven't seen this in years though. Like my memory of it is pretty foggy, so I don't know. Maybe
Here's the
I'll
thing:
love it.
I've actually never seen the original Child's Play.
Are you fucking serious?
And I am not gonna watch it. I'm just watching.
Wow.
You don't need to see it.
You're a man of principle.
To-
No, it's
well-
it's not.
You don't need to see it to watch Bride of Chucky, but you need to see it.
Well, I know, but the thing is, I've gotten to the point now where, like, yeah, there's like still several classics I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But we've gotten on this kick where we cover them on the
Yeah.
podcast, and I
Yeah.
think the perspective is better for the first time watch. So
Yeah, save it for the cast.
yeah,
That's
save it for
fair.
the cast.
Save it for the cast.
We need those
Yeah, I
views,
mean,
baby.
At this point, though, watching Child's Play versus like Bride of Chucky, it's like watching a early James Bond movie and then a latter day James Bond movie, and it's like these are so separate
Oh,
that
it's
it
like
does not
Yeah.
like it holds no bearing.
it's like
on
Friday
each
the
other.
13th and Jason X. They're
Yeah,
not the
exactly.
same.
They're very fucking different.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So slam your eyeballs into Bride of Chucky. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling, on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. If you would like to join in on our daily Slack channel conversations, just let us know on one of our social media outlets, and I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. Until next time, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Arrivederci, baby.